Berlin on a crisp winter's day doesn't get much better. Early morning commuters framed against the city's TV tower, a symbol of Berlin's reunification and since then of a Germany nestled in the heart of Europe. But all is not well here. There are dark currents flowing beneath the surface again, belying any sense of calm.
But I believe this is happening everywhere. But I don't live everywhere, I live here.
Igor Levitt is a pianist of world renown and acclaim, but it's not the name he puts on his mailbox or his front door. Last November, he started receiving death threats.
They came through via mail. They had an anti-Semitic tone.
Email?
Yeah.
They were serious enough that he had to have police protection at a number of his concerts. Levitt says he didn't experience anti-Semitism growing up in Germany until he was 22, a decade ago, when a man at a dinner party told him his people weren't meant to live in Germany.
I didn't have the tools to react because I had no experience, but it left a wound in me which never healed.
Germany is full of unhealed wounds. These are called stumbling stones, in that you stumble across them. They're etched with the names of people who once lived in the buildings nearby, forced to flee or deported to death camps by Germany's Nazi regime. The country's promise to confront its past is everywhere you look in the capital. How then can a country that's been so invested in remembering and learning from the horrors of the past be witnessing a rise in anti-Semitism? And yet it is. Last year, the Interior Ministry here recorded a 20% rise in anti-Semitic attacks, most attributed to the far right. So worried is the government here that it's appointed its first ever Commissioner for Jewish Life in Germany.
What is worrying me very much is the rise of anti-Semitism in the middle of society. You know, when you go to the football stadiums, in the underground, in restaurants.
Felix Klein points to the rise of the Alternative for Germany, or AfD, a right-wing party whose leaders he accuses of inciting secondary anti-Semitism, blaming the Jewish community for German guilt.
The chief of the party said that 12 years of National Socialism are just a minor detail of German history, trivializing then the horrors of the Holocaust.
The AfD is now the third largest party in the Bundestag. They have their eyes on more.
Many people want the good and the genuine patriotism back in Germany, where you can be proud to be German. That's it.
Vadim Derksen is with the AfD's Young Alternative, a youth wing, now on an extremist watch list by Germany's Domestic Intelligence Service. He accuses immigrants of importing hatred.
The biggest issue for me is, especially in the Muslim religion, starting there, if you want to fight anti-Semitism.
Felix Klein disagrees.
When you see the criminal statistics in Germany, particularly the refugees who came here only recently did not commit many anti-Semitic crimes.
Sigmund Königsberg is the Berlin Jewish community's own anti-Semitism commissioner. He says the threat to Germany's Jews has increased both from the far right and Muslim extremists. He also singles out the AfD, saying any form of intolerance is a threat. This party transports hate against Muslims, he says, and if you hate one minority, you hate other minorities. We won't let ourselves be used as cover for their hatred. The Jewish population in Germany has rebuilt to about 200,000, a drop in the bucket in a country of more than 80 million. But in a survey last year, 1 in 4 respondents exhibited anti-Semitic prejudice of some kind. And at synagogues like this one in West Berlin, people say they're increasingly worried about showing outward signs of their faith, like wearing a kippah in public. Many of those who've experienced abuse will tell you it is the silence of the onlookers that is hardest to bear and the most dangerous. This month, the International Auschwitz Society recognized Igor Levitt for his willingness to stand up against intolerance in all its forms. The threats against him, he says, haven't made him afraid, just the opposite.
It changed me a great deal, absolutely. Not in terms of fear, but in terms of the will to ask myself, okay, what is my role in this society?
In these troubled times, it is a universal question. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Berlin.
Troubled times indeed. The rise in anti-Semitism goes well beyond Germany, from hate propaganda to vandalism to violent attacks on Jews themselves. The French government says acts of anti-Semitism in that country rose 27% last year, 687 incidents compared to 541 the previous year. In Britain, too, a Jewish charity found there had been 892 incidents in the first half of 2019. That is 10% more than the same period in 2018. In the United States, the Anti-Defamation League says it has seen a 60% increase in cases since 2016, with incidents in virtually every state. And according to Statistics Canada, anti-Semitism is on the rise in this country. In 2017, hate crimes directed at the Jewish population were up 63% from the previous year.